Guys, it's Chris, aka Beauty and the Vape, here on day 2 of Vape Northeast in Connecticut. And we are here with
Jennifer?
Jennifer. The lovely Jennifer is going to tell her vape story. Jennifer, how old were you when you started smoking?
Well, actually, I didn't smoke before I started vaping, but I started vaping last summer, so I was 24.
Okay. And what was the reason you got into vaping?
It's actually because my boyfriend vaped. I'd always kind of chalked it up as just some kind of trend. But I suffer with really bad anxiety, especially when I drive. And it all kind of stemmed from a really bad car accident. So I would get really fidgety when I drove. I never knew what to do with my hands. I would kind of panic and kind of make this quick loop and be like, you know what, forget this, I'll just drive another day. But realistically, you have to be able to drive to function in today's world. And so the vaping kind of gave me something to focus on while I was driving. It gave me something to do with my hands. It gave me something to think about while I was driving instead of panicking and wondering, you know, if I was going to crash, if it was raining, or if it was snowing, or if I was going to slide, or if someone was going to cut me off and I was going to hit them. So it's definitely been more useful than I imagined when I started. You know, the first couple times I hit it, I was kind of like, oh, you know, this is kind of fun, and it tastes good, and it seemed kind of like a portable hookah, I guess, but it turned out to be a lot more than that, so it was nice.
Right. You've already touched me because I suffer from agoraphobia, and I don't drive myself.
Yeah, it's hard.
So it's crazy that you just said that. Like, I just feel the connection already. So obviously, some of my questions are just going to go out the window. So you didn't smoke. You didn't use any other methods of, smoking devices, anything like that.
I considered it, but
what, smoking?
There was a point where my anxiety got so bad that I had considered smoking. And the problem is I have a mom in the military that smoked since she was 18. And she's only about 47 now. She deals with a lot of health complications because of her smoking. I've watched her struggle trying to quit. She's been trying to quit since I was 10, and I'm 25 now. And I think it was like a combination of, her frustration with trying to quit and then always justifying continuing to smoke, her constant coughs and her chest pains, that it wasn't worth it to me. So it was nice to find vaping when I did, just because I had hit such a brick wall, and especially when you have anxiety, the hardest part of it is doctors will keep throwing these medicines at you. And it's the more they throw at you, the more frustrating it is, because I was sitting there one day looking at, 6 pill bottles going, so this is what I have to do to feel normal.
This is my crutch, and this is what my life's going to be.
Yeah, and it felt bad, but it's nice to know that that I can vape and I don't necessarily need a medication. Because when I have my vaporizer, it's a lot easier, to function. It gives me something to do with my hands. It gives me something to focus on, versus looking at a situation and just instantly panicking. So it's nice.
Oh my god! And that's so amazing that instead of picking up a cigarette, you were just like, no, I'm gonna vape.
Yeah.
Like that's because normally like people would just start smoking. It's like you self-medicate a different way.
For a long time. Yeah, I drank for a long time, especially in college, and it was bad. I was a functioning alcoholic for 4 months. I mean, it sounds crazy because you assume, a lot of college kids drink, but not the way I drank. It was bad, So it's nice.
You're gonna make me cry. I'm sorry. Like you are me at the age of 25. Like it's so crazy.
Oh yeah, it's hard, especially in today's world. It's just really stressful, and it's at points you find yourself grappling for something to make it better. But it's hard because there's only so many options, before you start dabbling into things that are illegal or things that are dangerous or things that have these crazy side effects that you're not sure are worth it because you're super young. But at the same time, when you're not on anything and you're sitting there and you're just, it's hard because when you have anxiety, it almost feels like, obviously kind of like everything's out of control, but it's the anxiety gets the best of you to the point that you don't even know where to start to rein it back in. So
it's just desperation.
Oh yeah, it's hard. You get desperate, and I've seen some people do some desperate things, and I'm glad that I never got to that point, that I didn't have to do it.
Right. So am I. That's just so crazy. I've never told anybody too that I used to work at a bar, and I was a functioning alcoholic. I was as functioning as you could say. I didn't lose custody of my daughter, but my mother had her a lot of the time because from Thursday through Sunday, I was drunk. Yeah, and it's because of my anxiety and because of all that stuff that I just wanted to feel better. And so it's like, let's just, numb yourself. So it's just so crazy. Oh my God, this is just nuts. And this is why I do what I do, is because I love meeting people like you, like people that, like as we were just saying, Your story touches me. Like it's crazy that and if there's one thing that you could say, because obviously these questions are out the window, but I mean, if there's one thing that you could say, because you serve a totally different part of the population, you're not really the norm of, well, I smoked and whatever, you give something even more. So vaping is not just for people who want to quit smoking.
Yeah, it isn't.
That's just absolutely amazing. So if there was like one thing you could tell your state representatives, what would it be?
I would definitely say that the biggest thing, especially today, is I guess the way I would say it is that we write it off as everybody has the poison, and I think what vaping taught me is that it doesn't necessarily have to be poison that you need to get by. It doesn't have to be alcohol. It doesn't have to be drugs, prescribed or not prescribed. That there are other ways out there. There are other options, for people like us that need something to get by. It doesn't have to be something bad.
Right. And that's why we need to keep it.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly.
Oh my God, it's so amazing. Is there anything else you want to add?
I don't think so.
So, oh my God, I have chills right now. That's awesome. Thank you so much for stopping by. It really means a lot, and your voice matters, your story matters, and I can't thank you enough.
All right, thank you.